in the Nigeria corporate setting, what is the importance? So it influenced corporate culture, because when we talk of culture, there's so many things. We're going to see what culture entails in the course of our discussion. So the corporate culture affects some people, affects most leaders, because when they say some culture, we say, oh, call everybody by first name. Oh, that's our culture. But some children, I know I'll give that example later, they can't call their father's age mate or mother's age mate by their first name. Then what's the impact of employee engagement and productivity in the workplace? Okay, then the role in what is that role in navigating local and global challenges? We always say that the world is now a global place. And in those days, they said the world was flat. They eventually said the world was round. Then some people now say the world is not round, it's over. So whatever it is, we are in it, and the world is turning without our even knowing. So how can we determine the culture of an organization? So there are three ways in which we can do that. First, reflection. Second, imitation. And the third one, by experience. Okay. And in most cases, when we say we want to know, we want to judge something by experience, it doesn't have to be by your own experience. It can be somebody else's experience. Because at times, even when it is your own experience, you may not even be able to, not the person will die, you may not be able to have the opportunity to tell people that experience, because the person may be out of the organization by then, because you probably went foul of the law. And especially HR, we are always there. You throw the book at the person, you make the person know that this is how we do it here, even if the person is coming from a blue chip company into a one-man business or whatever. But this is the way we do it. So let's see what it's corporate culture is all about, organizational culture is all about. Several ways on which you can define informal rules. There are also the norms and values that we have and beliefs and our way of behaving within our own setting. Okay, that is why it is always said that culture is such that some people define it as one man's meat is another man's poison. What we agree to in one place may not be what we agree to in another place. So there are informal rules. They are not things that we write. Okay, but there are just a little bit of them that we may say, okay, maybe you put them in on paper, but they are not things that we write down. So they are norms, values, beliefs, and the way we behave within. So it's the collective programming of minds. And when you go to a place, they say, it's our culture. Say your culture. But is it written somewhere? No, this is how we have been doing it. And that is culture. It could just start with somebody up there. It could start with HR, it could start with anybody, but it's the way our minds are programmed, and that's the way we do it. So let's see what culture is like. Culture is like a web. What do you mean by that web? That web is spider web. It entangles you once you find yourself in there. And that is why when the spider does whatever and an insect enters, it traps it. So, and that is the way culture is. It traps you in. You are locked in to behave the way other people are behaving within that system. Okay, so you've got to be inside of it to see it, to feel it, to smell it, to touch it, and hear about it, and make sense that why are they doing this? It worked for them. So it's a system of shared meaning that all of us believe in it, and we know why we are doing it. So all of us are in this together. It's not only HR, it's not only the leadership. So a poor culture, that is a culture that will make people to feel that, why am I in this place in the first place? That makes a poor culture will make the staff to disengage. It will also make your customer service to be dissatisfied. This week all organizations are celebrating customer service week. Mission Possible, they say. How well are their culture supporting that? A culture that they will, the customers will, not that they don't treat them well, it's in them that they will tell you, they'll make you feel that, yes, you are with us, but you can't go. I give you example of some of the organizations, some banking outfits that are related with. I told them that I'm not going to voice their their bank to anybody to come and register. Imagine ordinary me, see me, or simple me like this. They say I'm a politically exposed personality. Because of that, they froze my account. I said, me. I said, why? They said, because I was in government and I was a director. I said, director in public service, how much was my salary? That you are saying I'm politically exposed. The little money I have, say, give me. Said, no. I said, are you investigating me? So this type of thing will make customers, it's their culture. They just said they're doing the needful, know your customer. I said, you've been to my house, you've been to everywhere. Anything that you needed to know about me, you know. They said, but I still investigating. For about 2 months, they were investigating. And the money that was there was not much. I just told them I wanted to close my account. You see, it's their culture. Some other banks will do the needful, but will not take it to that extent. So we won't blame them for it. However, to me, it's a poor culture. Very poor. Okay, but it's up to everybody or anybody to determine whether it was right or wrong. So it takes months and years for people to know, especially those who find themselves in such a place. Coming from a bank and you are going into that type of place, say, we don't do this in where I was coming from. Say, you have to do it now. So it's very important that the way things are done in organization, HR, we need to make people to know that the culture is very important. And whatever is not adding value to our customer base or to our staff, please drop it. Drop it. Whatever is not adding value in our culture, we should drop it because it will lead. It's something like it will spiral. We'll get to that later. And it may make us lose so many of our bright talent, as well as our customer base will be depleted. So now let's look at what culture is. Culture is seen in what? Our dress code. There are some organizations, they will wear whatever, thank God it's Friday, t-shirts, they're branded. Their language, some organization, if you have to speak at any event, you will speak not the queen's intonation, but you need to speak the correct language. But in some places, you can throw in a word of pidgin English and all those things. But some of them will not allow, even in informal setting. So their goals, the attitude, the policies they roll out, the rules and regulation, the way they think. Some people, when they find themselves in oil and gas, they think differently. For those of us that are in public service, once you hear oil and gas, you want to say, these are the big goons or whatever we call them. So and the way they behave sort of shows the culture that is backing them. They will know that I should not be caught doing this. It's our culture. If anybody now goes to talk about what I've done outside there, I'm not representing my organization. So what are we doing? HR, as leaders of thought, we need to be able to make this, known to our people. So because a town that does not have rules and regulation or laws, there is no offense. So as HR, we need to be able to bring our people to understand what we are talking about. So our leaders' way. What do we expect from our leaders? One, they should lead. Two, they should share the vision and empower others to act in line with the vision that of those that started the organization. Whatever you will find or we discovered in the course of our work as HR, we should improve on it. And at the same time, inspire people. As a leader, when you look behind you and you know the class of people that are following you, then you know whether you are leading well. And that reminds me, for those who are in my generation, I'm still young though. Even if I carry the weight of 30 something years in L&D, I'm still young. Those who remember Jerry Ghana of MAMSA in those days, he said, if you're a leader, lead well. If you're a director, direct well. If you're a teacher, teach well. And I always at the end of it, I say, if you're a thief, thief well. So people will laugh. But for whatever it is, as a leader, we need to do, if not this 4, but at least 2/4. If you cannot do all the 4, lead, share knowledge of what is expected of them so that they'll be empowered to act. Improve on what you met, so that at the end of it all, when people will ask you, like what we could say, want to take account of what you've done, stewardship. And I say, I'm leaving this place better than I met it. Then you now inspire others, because as leaders, we should be a source of inspiration to others. I'll get to a point when I'm going to ask questions. Now, levels of leadership and what is expected of us. You know, the hierarchy is like a triangle, and it's up there that the big men are, then down descend policies and how we should behave. But mark you, HR is also in the boardroom. So when you look at this pyramid that we are looking at, employees are at the baseline. They face challenges, and their supervisor with management, that supervisors that, okay, let's say supervisors, some people call them line managers, some will call their management line managers as well. But supervisors, they are empowered to do what? Check on the challenges and control and manage those people down there. How do they control? How do they manage? You see, like what we always say, that these are the people, they are the backbone of the organization. So we need to be able to, these people should be empowered to relate with those who are on the lower echelon. Same thing with management. And what do? They are the ones that help in what? Performance management, not appraisal. You know, the world, even Nigeria, we are moving away from performance appraisal, because performance appraisal that we used to know is annual performance appraisal. Annual. The deeds will have been done. The person will have done whatever. And we now wait till December or once a year because it's annual. They may not even wait till December because it's annual. Maybe their financial year is different. We have different financial years or whatever. But once a year, management is moving away from appraisal into performance management. Even the civil service, Nigerian civil service, that we feel that bureaucracy is this or that, we are moving into performance management. From the last head of service to the current one, we are moving into performance management. What does performance management do? It sort of marks you, like, let's use the football field. Those who, I am not a football fan, but they say that somebody has been marked, so they use somebody to follow the person, say, don't let him score, don't let him score. So when I think, I hope I'm right, but they mark you that each step of the way, as you are committing an error, we correct it immediately, because we don't want you to go into the future with that error. That is the essence of performance management. Is it once a month? Is it once in 3 months? When? But we don't want to wait till December. So that is why the executive develops strategy, then the CEO, with all of them, they develop what? The mission, the values, and whatever they are there. And inside of that, we have the HR, because we believe in the vision, the values, and mission of the organization. So we manage the business and leave the value, share the vision, and make others successful as well. This is the matrix that we said we'll be examining, and we'll see what is all about. And we define leadership style. Everyone has his own, okay? But there is one, I think there's one somewhere there that most leaders don't consciously fall into. We are going to see that on the right side of the screen. But let's quickly see, what is leadership style? Your approach, your behavior. The approach and behavior. But all of us can have the same situation, but the way you approach it, your behavior will show how well you are managing your team. It's also a quality that individuals possess, or you can also develop. You can develop it. Once you identify that, I think there's something wrong. I need to rework myself. And that is what we want us to come up with at the end of this presentation. Because it's not about you. It's about you leading people, inspiring people to be able to do well, add value to the organization. So now let's see the type of leadership style on the right-hand side of the screen. We are visionary, transactional, transformational, servant leader. There was one governor of one state like that. He said he was a servant leader. But thank God, EFCC did not go after him when he left office. Autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, situational, charismatic, and coaching. The one I said people try to move away from this matrix is the laissez-faire. The laissez-faire. You cannot, I can't see any leader being laissez-faire purposefully. That's, oh, free reign. You can do whatever you want to do. No, but somewhere inside of us can lock the laissez-faire attitude, and you will not know. And people will say, just do this. You will get a guy who you will fall his hand, as we always say. That is a laissez-faire person. But overall, some of us have this inside of us. Some of us have more than one. Where do you fall? You have to, after this presentation, just look at it. Which area did I fall into? Can I identify one or two that I think I am exhibiting as a leader? So that is why John Quincy Adams says, if your action if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, become more, you are a leader. That means it's not about what? It's not about you. It's about the people that you are managing. So let's quickly see what other leadership style that we have of CEOs, those that we know, those that we don't know. And some of this leadership style may give rise to the toxic culture on the left-hand side of the screen. A visionary leader, some of us will know him, John Bezos, then decisive. I don't know whether we still put Elon Musk under that. So, but he knows his onions. Tim Cook, empowering. Mariso Meyer, goal-oriented, a mentor, satire, all of this. Satire words that Nodelia or something, then inclusive, Mary Baara or something, Bara. So you see, if you Google all these personalities, you see how they manage their organization, and they were able to build it up because of their leadership style. The other day I was reading that Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. That is taking over from Bill Gates and all the people and all the people and all. So we won't want to talk about our own Nigerian leaders, but one person that caught most people's attention of recent is our petroleum, what's the name now? Dangote. People just saw that, whether it was him or the people that surround him, but you should see that in most cases, the leader sort of takes the torchlight and leads others the way, and others will tell him this or that. They'll be there to support him. But if you don't have a good leadership style, you create a toxic culture, and a toxic culture will bring down the organization. And it can start from HR. Because when the good policies are handed over to us, how well are we managing it? And what constitutes a toxic culture? Poor communication, lack of work-life balance, people feel fagged out, ignoring employee feedback, underpaying employees, even in spite of the minimum wage. Some organizations, even if they are paying, they use the people, less pay, more work or something. No, more pay, more work, something like that they do, underpaying. But what the people are working, what they are doing is more than they are being paid. Tolerating toxic behavior, Okay, these are some of the things that you look at. Favoritism, vague job expectation when you give job description or you give job schedule, they don't know. In those days, we were told that they will give us stretching targets so that we'll be able to be stretched and we'll be able to do well. But nowadays, these Gen Zs and whatever, they don't want to be stretched. They want to tap on their AI toolkits and see what they can do with effortlessly. But in those days, they say we stretch you. We can't give you a target that you finish in 6 months. What do you want to do with the remaining 6 months of the year? So they piled us and piled us and piled. But nowadays, it's piecemeal in modular form. That's how they achieve. And they are delivering based on whatever is given to them. Micromanagement, lack of recognition, because if you don't recognize them, they just say in this place I put in so much and nobody is appreciating me. And that is part of the problems that we have with the Gen Zs and overworking employees. These are some of the traits of toxic organization that are running toxic culture. So we have seen a coach, we've seen democratic, autocratic, laissez-faire, and all of them, inclusive and everything. There's one that caught my attention, and that is what is referred to here as what the catalyst leader. We don't just say, this woman is talking. What we're doing now is building blocks of ideal leaders. Even if you are not going to be the ideal leader, you should pick one or two that will work for you within your organization, within where you find yourself, and wherever you find yourself. So this is another one that was not in those ones that you mentioned earlier, a catalyst leader. Catalyst, is it transformational? Is it transactional? Is it democratic? Let's see what makes a catalyst leader. He asks questions, he listens, he fosters innovation. That means he takes calculated risks, provides balanced feedback, builds trust, focuses on people's potential. That, okay, you can do this, we believe in you, you are the future of this organization. He collaborates and networks with all the people around him. He doesn't arrogate all the power to himself. So he empowers others, encourages development, energizes, mobilizes, analyzes action with strategy. So you see, if you put all of this together, we are looking at a calculated risk taker. We are looking at someone that appreciates people. We are looking at someone who feels that we are in this together and we will achieve. So that is it. So he works with strategy. He doesn't let strategy overwhelm all the staff. So what do we need to do? So let's look at the blue boxes on the right-hand side. As a leader, there are 4 domains that we can work on. Okay. Before we go to that, let's listen to this quotation by William James. He said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that, I don't know his generation anyway, is that people can alter their lives by altering their attitude of mind. That is why sometimes you say some people have poverty mentality. They need to have a change of mind. They need to do something to purge themselves of whatever they believe that they are doing, especially if those things are not adding value to the baseline. So let's look at this. The 4 boxes on the right-hand side. We will soon pause to take questions and to see, because I know these 4 boxes will give us questions or opportunity to think and see what are we up to. That's what we call unconscious incompetence. That means I'm incompetent, but I don't know that I'm incompetent. Is that you as a leader? Unconscious incompetence, sorry. I'm incompetent, but I'm not aware of it. Are you in that category? If you're in that category, what should you do? Do you give room for others to bring your consciousness to the fact that to remove that on from your unconsciousness and make you realize that you don't know this thing? What do? You seek for help. unconscious incompetence. So you don't know, but people are telling you, but because you are Oga, you will not listen. 2, conscious incompetence. This person knows that he does not know. So what does he do? He goes looking for the solution to the incompetence that he has. This type of person is open to training and development. Then we have issues. What is our issue here? The challenge of those who are conscious and they know. That's the problem that we have with some of our talent. Conscious competence. I am competent and I know that I know. How do you manage such people as HR? That is a question that I'm going to ask us to type into the chat box when I'm done with the last one. Unconscious competence. I have the competence in me, but I don't know that I have it. Something will just happen and I'll show that I have it. Let me give you an example. They say all of us are in a house, God forbid, or something. We always say in Nigeria that the house caught fire and everybody started running. Before you know it, before you say Jack Robinson, Mrs. Igbeyi has scaled a 6 foot perimeter fence. And by the time others found themselves out there, they say, madam, with your age, you scaled that fence. You say, honestly, I did not know that I could do it. But I am competent to jump the fence, but I didn't know that I have that competence in me. So that is unconscious. So when something will now push them to showcase what they have locking inside of them. Maybe they went for the training, for stage training or something, and something happened, and they just found themselves doing that. And people will say, when did this driver or this person learn how to do this? It's inside of him. And he did not know that that thing can be useful at a point in time. So now we go to our question. How do you manage a conscious competence staff? Conscious competence staff. Let's tap into the chat box and let's see what answers we have for us. Hello, are we there? Are we there? I have 153 people on the beat. That is interesting. I love that. Let somebody type into that and let's see. Yes, the lecture material will be made available to you. Yes. Yes. Emails will be appreciated. Yes. Yeah. You recognize them. Somebody says you recognize them. Conscious competence. So when you recognize them, what do you want to do? Conscious competence. Conscious competence. Conscious competence. What do you do? HR. Keep them engaged and assign higher roles. Awesome. Amos Bauna. Nah, yes. Point out their strengths to them. Sarah. Victor Abba says you recognize and groom them accordingly. Yeah, all answers are correct. This is adult class. Identify them and create room for their growth. Yes, you engage them. Fine. Place them where they can perform. Awesome. Awesome. Let them burn out that energy somewhere. Utilize them appropriately. Awesome. You encourage such people and train them more. Okay. You acknowledge their competence. Let me see this. Keep them engaged. Let them realize the teamwork so that they don't feel bigger than the organization. That is awesome. Thank you for that. Give them more roles. Yeah. If that will not even flex their muscle more. You give them more roles, they will say, because they know that I know. That's why they are making me this. Engage them and place them. You are right, though. Some of them may shine in that way. Engage them and place them where they can perform. Yes, motivate them by giving them an award. But they need to do something before you give them an award. I love that. That is reward. Give them higher responsibility, encourage and appreciate them. Thank you so much. We will go back to our presentation and we will take this. Okay. Somebody say something. Do not show them something. Let me see. What did that person write? You motivate them, engage them. Somebody say, do not show them. Do not show. Do not show low esteem around them. Rather focus on their strength and encourage them. Yeah, that's good. Okay, we will come to that later. All answers are correct. All the answers are correct because in adult class, Baba no dey fail. All answers are correct. Okay, so what are leadership? Whatever leadership style that you exhibit, remember you are there to do what? To serve. Serve now becomes an acronym for your style, the substance you bring, the satisfaction you have, and that you are making your other team members to have. You empathize with them. You should be resourceful. Okay. Have initiative, go the extra mile to make sure that they deliver and deliver well. You should add value, and they should also add value to the system. They should be efficient in whatever they do. So your leadership style should provide what direction as you are serving, because success is not about growing yourself. That is why this man of General Electric, Jack Welch, I'm sure some of us know about him, that success is all about growing others, and you'll be able to get there. So that's why I want to cap this slide with this Igbo proverb. It is not out of the benevolence of the butcher that we get meat, but in serving his interest, he serves our own interest. So think of a butcher, somebody that has killed a whole cow. Is it because he loves the society or he loves the community? No, he's serving his own interest. As he's serving his own interest in his pocket, he's also serving our own interest in our pots. So it's a world of give and take when you are a leader. It's not a world of it's all about me. No, it's about growing others. And that is why we are going to this, what we call the corporate bones. The corporate bones will take us back to that slide of the triangle. The CEO, the management, the executive, those are the lower run of the ladder. The lower run of the ladder, let's see, somebody has sent something to us. The lower run of the ladder, identify them. Okay, let's see what somebody has written. If you don't, okay, they're still talking. Okay, we are still talking about the conscious competence. Okay, so I said this corporate bone will cast our mind back to the triangle. Those who are up there, those who are in the middle, and those who are at the lower run of the ladder. Understanding corporate bones. There are four bones. Four corporate bones. Okay. We're talking about culture, we're talking about people, we're talking about your leadership style, we're talking about so many things together. But in each of this, all of us find ourselves somewhere. And what do we do with that location? What are we doing? What value are you bringing in? So let's look at it. There are four levels: the wishbone, the jawbone, the knuckle bone, the wishbone, that small one, the jawbone, the knuckle bone, and the backbone. These are the people that make up the organization. The wishbone, who are they? They are the operatives at the lower run of the ladder. Okay, if you don't, the junior cadre, they can put true spanner in the wheel of progress. They know what to switch off. Like what happened in Pengason. Not that I'm supporting them, before somebody will say, this is like what happened in Pengason. Pengason, they said switch off the gas. They switch off the gas. And all of us started buying gas of 13,000, 12,000, and now 24, 25,000. Because when you switch off some things, it will take a whole process before that thing will kick up again or pick up again. So they are the people that are there. So they can throw spanner in the wheel of progress or in the wheel of whatever of the organization. And the organization will be grounded to a halt. Okay? They are the wishbone. So managers must recognize their contribution at all times. Let's see, motivate them and recognize them. Let's see. Inspire them too. Okay. Okay. Managers must recognize their contribution at all times. They are sometimes referred to as low but mighty. Okay. Then the jawbones are also equally important in the organization. They are the supervisors, they are the senior foremen. You know how foremen, let's digress a little. How foremen came into that word came into being. In those days, supervisors that have moved up a little, they do 4 months job, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they changed that instead of me to be doing 4 months job, 4 man, 4 man, 4 man like this. They now change it to the 4 man. So it's them that you see first before you see supervisor and those that are lower run on the ladder. They are not up to middle managers. No. So these are the people that we call the jawbone. And you know what the jaw does? You can't put your food in your mouth. Even if you don't chew, the jaw will still do something. So these are the people. They take instruction from the knuckle bone and give to the wishbone. We will see who the knuckle bones are. So they are the ones that you will see before you see those who will say, we no go gree. Okay? They serve as go-between and assess the work of the operatives or assess the work of the wishbone. So now, you've seen the wishbone, small. Like those of us that like eating bones, chicken bone, there's one small bone that they say wishbone. They say when you finish eating, you say, don't throw it away, take it, break it into two, and make a wish. That's small, small, but they're mighty. Okay. Now let's look at the knuckle bones. The knuckle bones are they are the ones that sit to day running of the business. They call the shots and make things to happen within the organization. They can with the jawbone and the wishbone upturn the organization if they wish to, because they are the drivers of the business. They know where the money is. They know whatever. If you want to bring down an organization, work with the knuckle bones and they expose everything. That is where you can get the whistleblower, but we don't want that. Who are the backbone? The backbone. Without backbone, the person is incapacitated. Backbone are the owners of the business. They are the sponsors, they are the financiers of the business. Without backbone, without money, there'll be no organization. That president and sponsors and financiers of business, the jawbone, the knucklebone, the wishbone, they will just be roaming the street. But keeping them together and making them to be of value and bringing value to the society, they inject money into the system. So they are the ones that we see at the top in the boardroom. They make major decisions on the running of the business. They network. They tell HR and anybody that is in the business, this is the way we should be heading, or this is the way we are headed. Either we are headed that way or we should be heading this way. So whatever it is, most time they may not be known, but they are the owners of the business. You see, where do we fall? HR, where do we fall? Are we shareholders, stakeholders? Where are we? So see, we have now been able to get the foundation. We've laid the building blocks of what leadership style that we can use. We have also laid the building block of where we find ourselves as HR and what influence can we have with the people that we are managing behind us and in front of us. Those that we meet in the boardroom and those that we are going to pass the policies from the boardroom to. How do we manage them? That is our own leadership. Now, your attitude, our attitude. How do you manage? The member culture is the way, the mind programming of everybody, including us. So now, look at that programming based on attitude, culture, the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave will now be transmitted into your attitude. And that is what we are talking about. Your culture, your style will determine your attitude. Because if you make you to start thinking, how do I manage? How do I feel about this person? So what do I show? So it's your behavior that people will see and they say, that person has an attitude. Okay, towards a person, towards whatever. How are we managing this within the organization? So the role of attitude in leadership, you understand your attitude, its impact on the organization or the leadership. We need to know that. So attitude, way of thinking, feeling, or behaving. So attitude can be positive or negative. But most times as HR, we always want us to talk about positive mental attitude. So that once you think it, you feel it, and you behave that way. So that is what affects our decision-making process. That is what affects our communication as well as managing conflicts within the organization. Because if you don't do it well, if you don't feel it well, you will have committed one or two things without knowing. So it will now affect our decision-making process. And that is why on the right-hand side, they say, when do you make the big D? The big D is decision-making. And when you are making that, timing is of the essence, and the choice is also important. So when you make the wrong decision at the wrong time, disaster. When you make the wrong decision at the right time, it's a mistake. People can forgive you, say it was just his decision, we need to rewire his brain. The timing is right, but he didn't do it well. Okay? Mistake. Then the right decision at the wrong time is unacceptable. Okay? The time is not right. The decision is good, but the timing is not right. That is part of what our people said when President Tinubu said, subsidy is over. Eh? Some people said he should retract what he said. He made a mistake. Some people say it's unacceptable. We will not agree. But when you make the right decision at the right time, so you now see timing and the choice will affect what you do and your attitude. What you do is your attitude to action within the system. So, as I said, attitude is divided into positive and negative. So we want positive mental attitude. So we're not talking about positive attitude in leadership, because on the right-hand side, we want win-win. That is why I always sing this song. We always sing the song in February. Late Teddy Pendergrass sang that song. And I'll just stop at the point when, because of croaky voice. It's so good loving somebody and somebody loves you back. To be loved, da, 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 da. Be loved in return, da, 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 da. He now got to a place he said 60-40, 70-30, 50-50 love. So what are we talking about? If I'm very happy with my 40%, is a win for me. If I'm happy with my 30 and you are going away with 70, I won't bat an eyelid. Is a win for me. But if you want 50-50, what we are talking about, positive mental attitude, is that don't look at it and say, this person has treated me, I will not agree. No, life is such that we may not be able to get the 50-50. So a positive mental attitude will make you to be optimistic, open-minded, and resilient. That, okay, with my 40%, and I will show the world that I have it. And you succeed. You come back from a level of not low esteem now, low level to something, to the mountaintop, coming back to recoup what you think you have lost. So what are the benefits of a positive leader, of positive attitude in leadership? You foster motivation, you a motivating environment, and you make your those who are leading to be motivated, enhance problem solving capabilities. When there are issues, somebody has sent me a question. When there are issues, some people, hello, inspire them to. Somebody say hello. Okay, Musa Ibrahim Bello. Any issue you want to discuss with us, type it into the into the chat box. So if problems are to be solved, Don't have the solution ready that when the problems come. It is the decision that you make when that problem faces you. The choice will determine whether you are making the right decision or not. So you need to, it also help leaders to build trust among their team members. Question time. Positive corporate leaders, positive corporate leadership in Nigeria. That's a case study. I want us to look at the pictures of these four eminent Nigerians. Can you identify two of them up there? One is wearing whether sunglasses or medicated, or I don't know, with the cap. Then the other one is in suit with glasses. Then we have the woman and the man at the bottom. So the upper one, can you identify? If you can identify, then type into the wall into the chat box and let me see if you're able to get any, because there is a gift at the end of it all that I'm going to give whoever gets the four at once. Now, your time starts now. Gamaliel Onosede, Dora Akuyuli, you got 2/4. Dora Akuyuli, professor, late professor, yes. Who else? You got 2/4, 1/4. Baba no dey fail, you have tried. Akuyuli, yes. 1/4, 2/4. Gamaliel Onosode, yes. Who else? Who else is there? Abba. HR. Ruja. Mechama Sule, awesome. Dora Akuyuli, fantastic. 3. Mechama Sule, 3/4. Tijani Murtala, 3/4. Yes. Who else is there? 2/4. Who is there? You don't know this person. The man with the black cap, with black cap or whatever, Yoruba cap. Meitama Sule is fantastic. Amalia and Meitama 3/4. Yes, yes. The one that has the black cap with the yellow imprint. So your time has stopped. The clock has stopped ticking. Who is that? Majeko to me. What is Majeko? Nah. Me got that. Eh? Infinite. Oh, fantastic. Who said that? Gloria Eden here, but it's 1/4 now. So you didn't mention the other one. So I will now put which Bola Ige who is saying that. So we put all the four together. Nobody got the four. So Michael Omolayole, someone wrote, and that is it. Michael Omolayole, not Olawale, Omolayole, Glory Eden. Then we add that to Dora Akoyili, Meitama Sule, and Gamaliel Onosode. Not Gamala, Gamaliel Liel Onosode. Gamal. It's okay. So, yeah, Gloria Idehe, thank you. But you didn't get 4/4. You get 4/4, just 1/4, the one that others missed out. So the clock has stopped ticking. So I'm keeping my gift to myself. No, I'm not taking anyone again. Overview of leadership style in Nigeria. If you look at this one notable Nigerian, Baba Molayole is still alive. It will clock 90, sorry. It will clock 97 by God's grace on Monday. So he's still alive. He's one of those, one of my mentors, would I call, when I say, but he's one of them. And I see him as often as I can, at least 2, 3 times a year, because I get inspiration from him. So how their positive attitude contributed to their success. If you see the profile of these people, you see that they are notable Nigerians, and we want to get inspiration from them. Okay, so thank you everyone that contributed. And you see, let's be inspired, because this once you know that this person is an inspiration, there'll be 1 or 2 things to learn from them. So we've talked about positive attitude, optimism, resilience, and whatever. The other side of it, pessimism, negative attitude, resistance to change, no grief for them, lack of empathy. Oh, I said I was going to ask a question about that. No grief for them. Okay, we will ask that question later, because you are going to type the answer into the chat box for me. So, characteristics of a negative person or attitude: pessimism, resistance to change. I will be doing it like that. It's been working for us. but the world is leading you by. Like something I read online, or was it online on telly? It says people are afraid that AI will take our jobs. Someone I replied says AI will not take your job, but somebody that knows how to use AI will take your job. So you see, because there will always be a human being behind the AI. All those things that AI will come and tell you, somebody is there that loaded the information into to whatever search engine that AI is using. And mind you, Gemini AI and all those AI stuff, when they give you answers to whatever question, because they will also ask me anything, they will say AI can make mistakes, fact check. So they now realize that people are relying so much that AI is it, AI is it. We are not saying AI is not. But somebody that knows how to use AI will take your job. It's not most of us, when if you remember when we're crossing into the new millennium, we were told then, that was the year 2000, we were told that, all those cars that are not millennium compliant as we're going, you just be driving on, your car will just stop. That millennium bug. I'm sure some of us still remember. We're in the first quarter of the millennium. So, Jubilee, you see, just, you now look at it. Our cars did not collapse. So, it's the same thing. That same mentality that say, if you are not AI compliant, you are gone. We were thinking that AI will be the robot that will do what? Will take over our jobs. May not be. Maybe that individual that knows how to use the robot that will take your job. So let's look at the negative attitude. Consequences for leaders. They create a toxic work environment. We talked about toxic work environment, high employee turnover. They will jackpot on your organization. Productivity will reduce. Innovation, I say, like the one we did last year, right? Because they have that negative mindset. So let's look at this question on the right hand side. Don't mention Nigeria. Don't mention Nigeria. Mention some countries around the world of an effective leader, of an ineffective leader. Your time starts now. I said, don't mention Nigeria. I will not score you. No, Duchess no me. No, I will not take that. Syria, Venezuela, US, UK, US. They will take your visa, they won't give you visa. Burkina Faso, Did you say Burkina Faso? Is that not where they say that young guy is? Oreoluwa, USA. You know, Trump just brokered peace in Gaza. So he's an ineffective leader. Niger, Ukraine, Russia, Sudan, ineffective leader. Russia, ineffective leader. Effective leader. We send you to Russia. Who is this? Sally. We send you to Russia. Effective leader. Okay, now. Ineffective leader, Ukraine. I said, Musa. I said, I don't want Nigeria. Syria. Syria is we are now post Saddam Al Hassan or whatever his name is. Singapore, effective. Rwanda is Rwanda. Effective too. Palestine. Who is the leader of Palestine now? We don't have. Democratic Republic of Congo, USA, China. An ineffective. I didn't say effective. Ineffective. Did you say China is ineffective? Okay. Cameroon, democratism. Okay, it's up to you. You know why you mentioned those countries, but ineffective. I said I don't want Nigeria. Nigeria is our own. We just turned 65. 65-year-old person. We are effective. So, and now their negative attitude in that their effectiveness. You see, some of them, I thought somebody would mention North Korea, but let's leave that. So let's quickly look at your attitude. Once you look at this, you want to ask yourself the question, is your attitude making waves or ripples? See, on the left-hand side, see the waves at the sea, then ripple, one drop. and it will go on for a long time before that ripple effect. Or yours is the giri gra gra. So this is where I want to ask that question. If you have no grief for them attitude, what type of leadership style are you exhibiting? Your time starts now. Your time starts now. Are you making waves or ripples within your company, within your department, or you as a person? So now let's look at it. No question, no answer. Okay. When you have uh autocratic, Francesca, you got it. Francesca, you got it. Sally, you got it. No grief for them attitude. That means anytime that you are an autocratic leader. Thank you for that answer. All answers are correct. You got it, Sally, and that is good. So now let's look at this. Let's look at this. For those who know the Holy Book, I'm not so good in the Holy Book. For those who know, that there is a place in the Holy Bible that they say they call the Beatitude. The Beatitude. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for this are they call this. Blessed are the peacemaker, for this are the blessed are the that is the Beatitude. But management has now brought in the B attitude. The attitude you should be aware of and careful and capture hearts. The B attitude, not the attitude of the Bible, because we will not bring in religion into it. The B attitude. What are those attitudes that you should exhibit as a leader? You should be aware of, care for, and capture hearts in your leadership style. So when you don't build, okay, Zig Ziglar say you don't build McDonald is still there. And what do you do? So recognize and focus on the needs of those around you. That is the B attitude. Learn to recognize your own value and build your own self-esteem. Then help others to recognize their value and self-esteem. Because there are some leaders, they will kill your self-esteem. They make you feel that you cannot do anything without them. That is micromanagement. It reminds me of what our native people will say. Our native people say that when you give a masquerade, please, I'm not traditionalist too. I believe in God. They said, when you give a masquerade goat, you leave the rope with the goat so that the masquerade can take to the world beyond. When you micromanage, you're giving somebody an assignment and you're now teleguiding the person. How do you want such an individual to grow? We're not saying you should not supervise, but you don't let them use their initiative. That is micromanagement. So your B attitude is that you are aware that you can do it. And I care for you. I'll give you what it takes to be able to achieve. So commit to what? A winning relationship, recognizing and rewarding excellence, care for your people, and they care about the job. So caring for them and with respect, we make them to stay on the job. So leaders, one of the important aspects of leadership is to turn around and see who is following you. Or else, if you walk alone, you are just taking a walk in the park. Nobody is following you. You are in a world of your own. So change your attitude. Have more of what? Positive mental attitude. Indeed, you have to change. If you don't change, remember, it's not you that will get the job done alone. Okay? Because people are paid to produce results. And it is your people that will produce results. And they'll be the one to make you successful. Because when the chips are down, they say you are doing well. So let's look at what attitude can do for us. I believe the single most important decision I can make on a day-to-day basis is my choice of what? You see choice there? Attitude. It is more important than my past, my education, my bankroll, my successes or failures. fame or pain, what other people think of me or say about me, my circumstances or my position. Attitude is that single string that keeps me going or cripples my progress. It alone keeps me, okay, it alone fuels my fire, assaults my hope. When my attitude are right, there is no barrier too high, no valley too deep, no dream too extreme. Too extreme, no challenge too great for me to overcome. So look at it. When you look at attitude, you see that it spills into job satisfaction, it spills into job involvement, it brings more of organizational commitment, because the organizational commitment will now give the organizational behavior, and inside of the behavior we have the culture. So are you one of those that we need to freeze you until you find a cure for your attitude? Because if your attitude is not right, we'll freeze you to the next generation so that we'll be able to get there. So how do we transform from negative attitude to positive attitude? One, you have to have what we call self-awareness and reflection. Adopt a growth mindset that I can do better. I'll go beyond the call of duty. That is why my great grand uncle Martin Luther King Jr., because you remember that song that Lucky Dube said, that once you are a black man, you are an African. He's my great grand uncle. He says the right attitude. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets as even as Michelangelo painted or Beethoven composed music or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the host of angels and all the host of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. Your attitude is part of what will make people to know as HR that you did your job well. What are the strategies for developing positive leadership attitude? Emotional intelligence, and you need to build resilience. Don't give up. You need to know your capability and your ability to sense the emotion of people, and don't let them get under your skin, because you are going to bounce back and get this thing done. Stress management. So let's quickly look at this. How are attitudes developed? This is the story, a story that I'll run through now, and you see what it's all about. Years ago, Paul Harvey described how Eskimos in the frozen northern pole kill wolves. They take a razor-sharp knife, dip it in blood, freeze it. Next, they bury the handle of the knife in the frozen tundra with the blade sticking up. Wolves, attracted to the scent and sight of the blood and the coldness from the blood-stained frozen blade, numbs the wolf's tongue, and by the time the wolf, reaches the blade, he is unaware he's licking a sharp edge, and then begins to bleed. As he begins to bleed, he leaks even faster until ultimately he bleeds to death. In many ways, this story describes the way people are lured into the trap of bad behaviors: absenteeism, complaining, lying, misuse of official time, resources, and so on. At the early stage, such a worker feels good, but when he becomes neck deep in the bad habit, he or she begins to lose sense of direction, purpose, and reasoning. This may lead such a person to indulge in stronger and more potent vices until they are permanently hooked and eventually thrown out of the job. Interestingly enough, the wolf and the person with bad habit have another trait in common: each to give little or nothing for a huge, great reward. This is impossible. The proportion of what you sow determines the size of what you will harvest. And this is what you call in management the killer attitude. Especially for the wolf, as he's leaking, he's getting neck deep and he's dying. His killer attitude, and he gets thrown out of the job. So emotional intelligence is one of those things that we need to know. You need to know yourself. You need to know the benefits of emotional intelligence. And this is a course that Now, a training that all of us should get into, whether you get it big or you just take a little of it. So note, the workplace must be a place of high quality relationship, and we get there. Before we end, let's take one or two questions that you want before we end. Okay, if you don't have any questions, let's roller coaster down. So what do we need to do in all of this? You need to invest in people. You need to invest in people. And when you invest in people, people judge you by your action, not by your intention. Life is a lesson in forgiveness. And once you forgive that person, you are free. To get ahead in life, don't build a bridge, not a build a bridge, sorry, and not a wall. Don't end up like concrete, all mixed up. Strive for what? Positive change in whatever way. Our attitude will determine our leadership style. Take a deep look at your leadership style and how your associates perceive you. What flaws can you identify in yourself or associates, especially working relationship within your organization? See that red image. Before you start anything, learn how to finish it. See that man, he has boxed himself to that corner. How will he step out without destroying what he has built? And that is what our attitude can do to us. Your leadership style could be good, but if your attitude comes in negatively, it will spoil everything. So we need to know that human beings are made up of what? 3 levels: physical, mental, and emotional, which is spiritual. So we need to manage our stress and other people's stresses, and we need to be able to see HR, what are we doing? When people are down the valley, bring them up the valley. But if somebody wants to kill the interest of others, because he said that if one finger touches oil, it will rub off others, and you do nothing as HR, it's your leadership style. People say, have they killed him? No. Have they sacked him? No. So please be decisive, be intentional when you are making some decision. It's not that your attitude is not right. What we need to know is that there are some people that we need to Jonah them. You know the story of Jonah? Excess luggage. They threw everything into the sea. The ship was still wobbly, wobbly, wobbly. So what happened? He said somebody is here. They looked at who joined them. Last person. They Jonah'd him, threw him to the sea, and they had their peace. Jonah the person. After you have followed the due diligence and you get there. I know it's hard within the public service, but once you do the due diligence, even the unions will not come and take you up on it. So what you need to do, take a step, offer life where people are stressed. Choose to collaborate as a leader. Then you keep moving because you add integrity, discipline, and you throw knowledge that you know what you're doing. Then they will respect you. So what do you do? This is my cousin in the White House, the black man in the White House. He said people will trust you, have faith in you, and believe in you, and success will be yours in all what you do. So we need to manage that very well. So as leaders, we should be able to assert ourselves, should be able to see the role of attitude in shaping whatever we're doing. We need to take practical steps. Don't look at others and say, I should be this person did it and he succeeded. Negative attitude or whatever. You may not be that lucky. So look at it and see what you want to do. So let's quickly look at the questions, what I have for us. If you have any question, then we will see what. Let's see your questions because I want to go to this part of the last part of the presentation. Any question? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Questions? Okay. Maybe after this, you would ask me question. This is about leadership. The next CEO. A successful businessman was growing old and he knew it was time to choose a successor. Somebody has thrown a question. Employee of the same employer makes relate or calls for his fellow senior junior colleagues, his own staff, my staff. I don't understand this. Employees of the same employer makes relates Gosh, please look at it, Mrs. Oreolua. Look at it and please reframe so that I will understand it. So that I will understand it. Okay, sorry. Well, okay. I've been muted, but I'm sure you can hear me now. After some time, somebody said, okay. Okay. Please, Mrs. Oreolua, can you reframe that so that I will get the question by the time we are ending? A successful businessman was growing old and he knew it was time to choose a successor to take over his business. Instead of choosing one of his directors or his children, he decided to do something different. He called the young executive in his company together, and what did he do? He said, "It is time for me to step down as the CEO. Okay, I've decided to choose one of you." The young executive were shocked, but the boss continued. What did he continue to say? He said, "I'm going to give each one of you a seed today, a very special seed. I want you to plant the seed, water it, and come back here 1 year from today with what you have grown from the seed I have given you." And that's the seed. I will then judge the plants that you bring, and the one I choose will be the next CEO. One man named Jim was there that day, and he, like others, received a seed. He went home and excitedly told his wife a story. She helped him get a pot, soil, and compost, and he planted the seed. What happened? That's it. Every day, he will water it and watch to see if it had grown. After about 3 months, some of the other executives began to talk about their seeds and the plants. They were beginning to grow. Jim kept checking his seat, but nothing ever grew. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks went by, still nothing. But now, others were talking about their plants, but Jim didn't have a plant, and he felt like a failure. 6 months went by, still nothing in Jim's pot. He just knew he had killed his seed. Everyone else had trees and tall plants, but he had nothing. Jim didn't say anything to his colleagues. However, he just kept watering and fertilizing the soil. So he so wanted the seed to grow. A year finally went by, and all the young executives of the company brought their plans to the CEO for inspection. Jim told his wife that he wasn't going to take an empty pot, but she asked him to be honest about what happened. Jim felt sick to his stomach. It was going to be the most embarrassing moment of his life, but he knew his wife was right. He took his empty pot to the boardroom, and there it was. Jim arrived. When Jim arrived, he was amazed at the variety of plants grown by the other executive. They were beautiful in all shapes and sizes. Jim put his empty pot on the floor, and many of his colleagues laughed. A few felt sorry for him. When the CEO arrived, he surveyed the room and greeted the young executive. Jim tried to hide in the back. "Mine, what great plants, trees, and flowers you have grown," said the CEO. "Today, one of you will be appointed the next CEO." All of a sudden, the CEO spotted Jim at the back of the room with an empty pot. He ordered the financial director to bring him to the front. Jim was terrified. He thought, "The CEO knows I'm a failure. Maybe he will have me fired." Jim got to the front. The CEO asked him what happened to his seat. Jim told him the story. The CEO asked everyone to sit down except Jim. He looked at Jim and announced to the young executive, "Behold, your next CEO, Chief Executive Officer. His name is Jim." Jim couldn't believe it. Jim couldn't even grow his seat. How could he be the new CEO? Others asked. When the CEO said, then the CEO said, "1 year ago today, I gave everyone in this room a seed. I told you to take the seed, plant it, water it, and bring it back to me today. But I gave you all boiled seeds. They were dead. It was not possible for them to grow. All of you, except Jim, have brought me trees, plants, and flowers. When you found that the seed would not grow, you substituted another seed for the one I gave you. Jim was the only one with the courage and honesty to bring me a pot with my seed in it. Therefore, he's the one who will be the next Chief Executive Officer." What's the moral of the story? If you plant honesty, you will reap trust. If you plant goodness, you will reap friends. If you plant humility, you will reap greatness. If you plant perseverance, you will reap contentment. If you plant consideration, you will reap perspective. If you plant hard work, you will reach success. If you plant forgiveness, you will reap reconciliation. So be careful. What you plant now, it will determine what you reap later. Whatever you give to life, life gives back to you. Live your core values and you will get there. So now, let's see what our questions are. Let's see. You've seen the story of Jim. Let's see. Truthful, honesty, indeed, is the best. Honesty, indeed, is the best policy. Wow, this is great. Thank you so much, man. You get that. So, you see, these are some of the things that, okay, let me see. I don't know. A boss CEO. Okay, who is this? Adeyini Talabi. Okay. Oh, okay, so Adeniyi Tohib. Thank you, ma, for the answer. My question. Okay, we'll get to your question now. We come to the question. So you've seen what we have written, and that is the next CEO that we have seen: integrity and honesty. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. Now let's quickly take our questions. I want to stop sharing. Okay, let me not share. Let me continue sharing my slides. I say truth will always prevail. Let me see. Somebody asked a question. He said the boss CEO that finds it difficult to relate goals, plans, but only communicate. We have 8 minutes more. Only communicate when he or she is ready to pass instruction and information. As an HR, how do you manage such a person? You see, in those days when I was in service, there was what we call managing your boss. It was a course meant for secretaries in those days. But I found it useful. It has a lot to do with emotional management. When you manage your boss, you'll be able to manage his mood. You'll be able to get close to him. He'll be able to tell you. He will now see that he is the one that is on the other side of the law, not the right side of the law. So what we need to do is that study them well. I'll give you an example of one, as I said, managing your boss. Because we cannot sit here and give you an answer to all the questions. No, not the answer, not an answer. The answer to your question. Why? Because one size does not fit all. I can only give you an answer that may work for you, but may not work for others. So let me give you an example. A story. We had this secretary in our office then. Truth will always prevail. Okay. She was of the deeper life. Whether she's still now, I don't know. And our boss then, a ladies' man. Okay. One day, we were not there. It was the secretary that told us so. One day, because anytime some of those shinene will come to see Oga, our deeper life secretary had nothing to say about it. So what happened one day? One of the shinene was there. Another shinene was coming in. Oga cited the second shinene that was coming in, ran out of his office, told the secretary, I say, if anybody comes in now, tell the person I'm not in the office. The secretary said, Oga, I can't say that. He said, you know now. He said, you go and work for Kumuyi. You hear? So Oga entered the office and shut the door. So as we now asked her, I said, what did you do? He said, when the second shinene came in, what did she tell her? He said, I told her guys at a meeting. He said, of course. I said, was it meeting? He said, whatever they are doing in there, as far as she's concerned, they were at a meeting. So if you now want to say that, if we were, what would you do? Would you tell her, go, or guy is not in the office? Or sit, or guy will soon come out? Or what? He said, as far as she was concerned, they were at a meeting. So you need to learn to manage the people, the bosses that you're working with. And you'll be able to manage the people that are also working with you. So if this man, where is the question now? That where is it? Okay, that he finds it difficult to relate goals and plan, only to communicate when he's ready to pass instruction. You will not relate with this. Such a person, HR, you may be the one to come to his rescue. Why? Send the person for maybe strategic meeting somewhere or whatever, a training somewhere, that when he comes and he rubs mind with other people that are not within his own organization, you now see that, oh, so I've been doing it wrong day after all. Because people have been complaining. He said, why are you sending me for this? I said, okay, we are sending you because we are preparing you for a higher level. He said, but we soon retire. I said, okay, whether here or your next dispensation, we are preparing you for a higher responsibility. You will not know that you want to correct something in there. So if he wants to continue to pass information and the information may be belated or whatever, we need to manage them well. So how do you manage a conscious, competent employee with toxic behavior? We gave examples of how to manage conscious, competent employees before. A lot of them, so many people gave us the insight to that. So we have to scroll back to go and see conscious competence. Those who know that they know that they know, and they know that they know. How do you manage them? But as toxic behavior, of course, they always have toxic behavior because they believe that they know more than others. And you want to give them assignment, they just look at it and say, what is this? This. So you need to manage them well, train them. No, no. You even throw them some what do we call it now? You also throw them that assessment. Let them assess themselves, because in those days with our annual appraisal form, we used to have a section that would say, what type of training do you think will enable you to perform at a higher level of responsibility? And some of us in those days, want to go to CMD. At the point in time when Lagos Business School came into being, they say we want to go to Lagos Business School. At the time, some people say, they want to go to Israel. Some people want to go to this and whatever. So once you make them, this is part of performance management. You design forms that they will fill, especially for those conscious, competent. Tell them type of training, how they are doing, and whatever. Like somebody says, say, get them engaged, get them motivated or something. I can't remember. There are lots of answers to that in the course of this discussion, and we'll be able to get there. Mrs. Orelua. Made support his colleagues, his staff. Okay, correct me wrong to be, so that I see there are protocol. Oh, thank God. I was afraid. I was afraid that I've been bounced out by my network. Okay, as I said, at what point did I? Okay. Oh, I can't remember where I stopped. So for whatever it is, let's learn to manage. Okay, somebody asked the question whether I can call the staff. No, you cannot. Each organization has its own ethics and protocol. So it's up to what is obtainable within the culture of the organization. But I don't think it is ethical to call them my staff. Okay. That is why modern management also says that you don't call somebody an assistant. Now we use better, I say in quote. They call them associate. associate. Okay, they don't call them you are my assistant. Okay, so we need to look at it and see how do we manage these people. So not necessarily that let me see, I don't know whether I've answered that. Okay, my staff, what could probably be the right way? My colleagues, even some people say don't uh, classify or qualify the colleagues, just say, some will say my senior colleague. Colleague is colleague, whether junior or whatever, but it's not ethically right to call them my staff. Okay, okay. My associates, my colleagues will just be fine, not necessarily my staff. It's not their employer. Okay, it's not their employer. It could be a line manager, but it's not their employer. Okay, thank you so much. How to manage was you would rather spend on recruiting over and over rather than adopting strategy to retain employees. That is usually within the by the what do you call these people now? Usually one man business who probably would not want to spend so much money to train. So that is one of the ways in which they feel that it's easier to recruit more people, let them go. Okay, but if you don't see them grow, your business like that will gradually be eroded. People that you don't train to stay, they will go. So it's very important that we manage our people well. So thank you so much. How can we get the material? Once you get inducted, you'll be registered on our the institute what do you call it now? Telegram. And as you are registered and your forms, they will send the institute will send the presentation to you. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much. We may not be able to answer all the questions, but thank you so much for being part of this. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your time with us. So it's 2 minutes after 10, and we are supposed to stop now. So what can be done if where it becomes difficult to get an appointment letter from management for months? Even the member in public service, when you get your letter of appointment, your salary does not flow in until after some months. So sector has its own each sector has its own way of operating. So they may not give you letter of engagement because they believe that who is bearing my name there? Yadi Okoyemi Raquel Rachel. Okay. You see, each organization has each sector has their own way of relating. Some will not pay you until after 6 months when they know that you have nowhere to run to. Some will not give you letter of engagement until they say you are confirmed and all those things. Some will give you and say if you want to run, there are different ways in which they will get to you. So thank you so much. We appreciate you for giving us your time. We started like 8:30, 9:30, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. We have done and we have impacted one another. So you can pass some of your questions when you are registered on our Telegram and WhatsApp group. You will be able to ask some of these questions, and some people who are still in the industry will be able to put you through. Thank you so much, and see you at the induction proper. National Secretary, National.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for that insightful presentation. We thank you so much. Abuja, are you ready? Abuja, are you ready for us tomorrow? Okay. For Abuja induction, the physical induction comes up tomorrow by 9 a.m. Then for the online inductees, you connect with us by 10 a.m. So see you all tomorrow. Good night. Thank you.